This is the Cerakey Nada65, the first foray into mechanical keyboards from a company that's developed a niche following making premium ceramic keycaps. As you may recall, I've reviewed their keycaps as an independent offering in the past, so when I heard that they were making a 65% QMK compatible Panda-themed pre-built, I had to check it out. As always, you should know that Cerakey sent me this keyboard. However, they've had no input in the video, and I'll do my best to present my honest perspective on what's good and not so good about it. That said, let's get into it. As the name suggests, the Nada65 is a 65% 67-key mechanical keyboard that offers wired and radio frequency connections polling at 1000 Hz, as well as 3 Bluetooth connections that poll at 125 Hz. As of now, there aren't any configuration choices to be made, as it comes pre-built with custom 55 gram force linear Celeste Blue switches by Everfree, and the keycaps are matched to the Panda theme of the board itself. Together this costs $159 USD, which is a little pricey at first glance, but it's solidly between Keychron's plastic V2 Max at $109 and their aluminum Q2 Max at $209. Neither of which has ceramic keycaps. And since that's the Nada65 standout feature, it's worth considering that the A and B sets of Cerakey keycaps needed to cover a 65% keyboard would cost $108 on their own. So if you were trying to recreate this separately, going with a curated Nada65 might not be a bad choice. Taking a closer look at the keycaps, they're a special 3-colored cherry profile set of the company's alumina ceramic keycaps, with white on black keys for the alphanumeric characters and black on white for the peripheral keys, with the exception of the escape and enter keys, which are black on green. I have no complaints about the legends, as they're all very nice and clear, and I quite like the few Panda-themed alternative keycaps that they've included. However, I was a little surprised to find that there were no Mac-specific first row keys included, given that this is promoted as a dual OS keyboard with the associated toggle switch for Windows and Mac modes. That said, the ceramic keys provide a unique, smooth, and cool-to-the-touch typing experience that I quite enjoy, and they have a unique acoustic signature that we'll have a listen to very shortly. Upon closer inspection, I noticed that a few of the keycaps appear to be a little bit skewed relative to the case, which I think is caused by the plastic stem receptacle being ever so slightly twisted inside of the keys. This hasn't caused any issues, but it is worth noting. It's also worth mentioning that the spacebar is equipped with a heavier Kale box switch to counteract the added weight of such a large key. Something to consider, or perhaps leave as is, if you're going to swap out the switches to something else somewhere down the line. The case itself is a 2-piece ABS plastic construction that's very glossy, matching the shine of the ceramic keycaps. When I first saw images of the Nada65, I was hoping it may be a ceramic case, but nonetheless, it looks really nice, provided that you can keep it clean. Because, like the black keycaps, it's a total fingerprint magnet, which I suspect is why the company provides a microfiber cleaning cloth in the box. On its underside, the Nada65 has 4 large rubber feet surrounding 3 polished aluminum decals that are heavily Panda-themed. These are neat, but given that these and the custom printed keycaps are the only Panda-specific elements, I suspect we might see some alternative themes emerge over time. You may have also noticed that there are 8 ambient lights surrounding the keyboard, with 2 on each corner. These are simple but nice additions that complement the south-facing RGB backlight, each of which has independent controls. My biggest complaint about the Nada65 case is that it's snap-sealed, so it's not easy to crack it open if you decide you want to try some internal modifications. I get that it's curated, and I actually like the sound, but I always want the peace of mind that comes with screw access cases. On the inside though, the Nada65 seems to be jam-packed, with the plate foam and IXPE switch pad that we've come to expect in 2024, paired with a plate-based gasket mounted system, as well as 3 separate PET, foam, and silicone pads in the case base to shape the keyboard's acoustics. This is also where the 4000 milliamp hour battery is stored, and the company claims that that can get 235 hours of use when all the lights are off, or 32 hours when all the lights are on. In my testing, I got a little over 19 hours in a worst case scenario with full brightness both on the static backlight and the ambient lights. That said, let's have a listen to how the Nada65 package comes together. Together, the heavy and thick ceramic keycaps, paired with the FlexCut FR4 plate and the internal dampening, give the Nada65 a really unique sound that I quite like. It's definitely more on the deep, thocky end of the spectrum, but also has a faint, crisp click coming from the ceramics. And the spacebar is surprisingly less prominent than I was expecting. I do occasionally catch a little pinging or something coming from the plate-mounted click-in stabilizers, but mostly when I'm striking perhaps a little bit too aggressively. But let me know what you think in the comments section. After reviewing a few magnetic keyboards in a row, I was quite happy to retreat back to the familiar folds of a QMK-compatible mechanical keyboard that works with VIA. As the Nada65 is a smaller keyboard, I spent some time customizing the key mapping in the function-driven layers, as well as setting up a few of my favorite macros. It didn't take much to drive all of the function that I needed from a 75% keyboard layout into this little package, which is nice. Again, I found it a little funny that the function keys pre-configured for the Mac layers didn't account for Mac OS, but I was able to fix this easily enough, and you can pause here if you want to check out and mimic my more functional layout. All things considered, I think the Nada65, like Cerakey keycaps in general, is a bit of a niche offering, but definitely one worth exploring if you're looking to add a 65% pre-built to your collection and have a thing for pandas. Given the unique sound of this keyboard, I hope the sales are sufficient to justify the release of alternative themes as well, and if I can make a wish, perhaps ones that have a screw-shut case. But what do you think? Is the Nada65's unique composition worth the $159 price point, or is there something else out there that's caught your eye? Let me know using the comments below, and as always, if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.